I finally decided to give all of the Infinity weapons a try. I've been so used to just using the Galaxy Sword in previous playthroughs. I think it's about time I try and switch things up a bit. So, in this video, I'm going to show you what each Infinity weapon can do in the Skull Cavern during the Skull Cavern invasion quest. And yes, as any sane person does, I will also be using some Monster Musk to really bring out as many enemies as possible. I want to try and test out these weapons in the worst case scenario and see what they can do. I will show you a bonus weapon at the end of this video that is almost comparable against the Infinity weapons. It isn't the Infinity Dagger, so keep watching if you want to see which weapon that is. I will be starting this video off with the good old-fashioned Infinity Blade. It feels almost identical to the Galaxy Sword. It hits really hard, swings very fast, and has a very large swing radius, making it a perfectly well-rounded weapon. It also had pretty decent range when compared to the Infinity Dagger. And I think for any newer players looking for a weapon to take with them to the Skull Cavern or the mines, the Infinity Blade is definitely the best choice for newer players. It is quite a safe weapon, and when you enhance it with 3 rubies, that increases the total damage output by 30%. It can make quick work of any enemy the game can throw at you, and you can pretty much enhance it with whatever you prefer. You can use aquamarines to increase the crit rate, or you can use emeralds to make the sword swing even faster. But I think the Infinity Blade is fast enough as it is. For the enchant, I would highly recommend using the Conqueror enchant or the Vampiric enchant. As you can see in this clip, there are a ton of mummies, and the Conqueror enchant increases your damage to mummies by 50%. And as an added bonus, it will allow you to defeat mummies without using any explosive damage. So all in all, the Conqueror enchant will work fine in the Skull Cavern. But I actually prefer using the Vampirism enchant. You can see here I landed on a prehistoric floor just absolutely filled with dinosaurs. And these guys pack quite a punch. But with the Vampiric enchant, I literally face tanked them and swung my sword at them as fast as it allowed me. I managed to heal up through their damage and actually left the fight with 100% health, all thanks to 2 swings. Obviously, the Vampiric enchant that heals you for 9% of the enemy's max health, and secondly, Stardew has iframes after you take damage. For a very short amount of time, you won't be able to take any damage, and pair that with a chance to heal a ton. It worked out pretty well and has gotten me out of so many sticky situations. To obtain an Infinity Blade, you'll first need to find a single prismatic shard and bring it to the shrine in the desert to get a Galaxy Sword. Then you will need to buy 3 Galaxy Souls at Mr. Key's Golden Walnut Room for 40 key gems each. Or you can be extremely lucky and find them in slimes inside the Skull Cavern during the invasion quest. I was extremely surprised when I saw the slimes could drop a Galaxy Soul, but it was a very welcome surprise. Alrighty, and that is the Infinity Blade. Now, I will be honest, I never liked hammers in Stardew Valley. They always felt very slow, and the timing was just always so weird and often got me killed when serpents rush at you. If you swing too early, you will completely miss and can't swing in time to hit them. But the Infinity Gravel is different. It is by far the fastest hammer in the game when using your regular attack. It feels a little slow compared to the Infinity Blade, but it's not bad. I managed to use it and defeat enemies using only the standard attack. It did slightly more damage, and it just did pretty well. I did try and enhance it with 3 emeralds to make it faster, but for my experience, it just feels better with more damage instead of more speed. I think it's the attack animation, but 3 rubies is the way to go for me on the Infinity Gravel. So compared to the Infinity Blade, the Infinity Gravel just doesn't seem as good when only using the standard attack. But that's not what the Infinity Gravel is about. Hammers have an interesting special attack. You slam the ground in front of you and it seems like it causes a shockwave, or maybe it just bounces and hits the ground twice. But it seems like it hits enemies twice and the range is really large. This special move was quite interesting to me. It hit many enemies all around me, even behind behind me, and it did a lot of damage to them, and it even knocked them back a ton. So therefore, I believe the Infinity Gravel is actually really good. It is very different to the sword. You need to use your special move whenever it is off cooldown, but it worked out really well for me. I managed to defeat hordes of enemies flying at me with the special move, and to be honest, it's just really fun to do. When a real serpent is flying towards you, it had no idea what to expect until you smashed that hammer down on the floor and sent it flying. Sometimes it even knocked enemies back so far that they were out of aggro range, which is pretty funny. Based on that, you should definitely use the Artful Enchant for the Infinity Gravel. The weapon really relies on the special move, and its Artful Enchant reduces the cooldown of special moves by 50%. And trust me, you can feel that 50%. It makes a huge difference. I think newer players should still definitely use the Infinity Blade over the hammer. But if you are looking for something new and hilarious, pick the Infinity Gravel. It was a lot of fun to just smash the enemies and watch them go flying, and you should give it a try as well. To get the Infinity Gravel, you will first need to buy the Galaxy Hammer at the Adventurers Guild for 50,000 gold, and then do the same upgrading process as the Galaxy Sword. Now for the Infinity Dagger. I didn't have much hope for it, since it has such a short range and the total damage is just considerably lower than the other weapons. But I just had to give it a try anyway. I decided to go with the Crusader enchant just for fun, and I enhanced it with 3 aquamarines to increase the crit rate. Something I forgot to mention earlier, I'm currently using the Brute Profession that increases your damage by a flat percentage. I think to use the dagger more effectively, you should probably pick the Scout route to get more crit chance, and the Desperado Profession to get more increased crit damage. So, just like the other weapons, I entered the Skull Cavern during the invasion quest and used some monster musk and tried to defeat some enemies. As I thought, the weapon just doesn't feel nice to use when using the standard attack. Many times I was not close enough and I was just hitting air with my dagger, and I accidentally took a lot of damage to the Skull Cavern run. I will admit that the special attack is really fun to use, because it usually kind of one-shots any enemies you hit with it, provided you are actually close enough to hit them. The Infinity Dagger is a strange one. I think it's fun to use, but it will definitely put you in danger, and maybe that is because I don't have the correct professions. What do you guys think of daggers in Stardew Valley? For me, I prefer a longer weapon that you can use at a safer distance. And that is where the bonus weapon comes in. I didn't know this until today, but you can put so many things in a slingshot and use it as ammo. And the best ammo in this game for doing damage to enemies is iridium ore. Yes, you can fire iridium ore at enemies and do a pretty decent amount of damage. It can do as much single target damage as the Galaxy Hammer. It just does it much slower and you can miss quite easily, and good luck using it against multiple enemies flying at you at the same time. It feels so weird, and it means your slingshot won't have explosive ammo inside of it, but it actually does work. You can defeat enemies with a couple of shots. Since it goes over rocks, you can defeat enemies from a safe distance while they just stand behind rocks and stare at you. So would I recommend it? Absolutely not. Don't waste your iridium ore on this. It is definitely not worth it. You can use your sword for free, it doesn't cost you anything. But using the slingshot with iridium ore as ammo means that every shot will cost you. And that brings us to the end of the video. It was a ton of fun to make. I thought the Skull Cavern with Monster Musk was gonna be incredibly difficult, but these weapons are strong enough to take out huge hordes of enemies. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and as always, I will see you in the next video.